where I have a bit of a problem when I'm in the bathroom. I have to try to figure out which toilet Dick Cheney has never used. But fortunately, if you go back there, you see in the stalls now they have little cameras. And so with a little bit of hacking, I think that problem will soon be solved. Maybe it might require a few tokens. For those of you who are conducting ICOs, I will give you the secret formula to success. It's 30% extremely hard work and 70% luck. For those of you who are not doing an ICO, my goal is to fix tokens and ICOs. So we'll start by understanding a bit about tokens. All of the material, most of this comes from the tokenhandbook.com, which you should be able to spend a few days learning from. And to start, we'll discuss the difference between a coin and a token. I know you know what coins and tokens are. Is a password a token? Who thinks a password is a token? Anybody think a password is a token? No. Okay, a token is a physical thing. So if I wrote down a password on a piece of paper and give it to you, is that a token? Is the paper now a token? Is the paper a token? Yes? You think? Okay, here's the thing. The paper is a token only if there's a system with a reader that can then read that password automatically and grant you access or something to the system. Otherwise, it's just a reminder. It's not a token. Okay, so let's make it a little harder. What's this? Is this a token? Who thinks this is a token? Anybody? Huh? It's full of trash. I hope not like me. Is this a token? No, this is not a token. This is a garbage bag. This is a garbage sack, in case you don't recognize it. This costs 5 cents. You can get a whole roll of these for about 1 Swiss franc. What's this? What's this? Huh? Is this a token? Who says this is a token? Yes, this is a token. What is this? This is how they dispose of garbage in Switzerland. In Switzerland, this is the city of Bern. You buy this garbage bag, costs 1 franc. 1 franc. Why? Because it carries a payload, right, of garbage, and you use the fee for the token pays for the garbage service. There are no accounts. No accounts. Even though there are a million other accounts in Switzerland, Switzerland has the most advanced garbage billing in the world because they use tokens, not accounts. In fact, this is a bearer instrument. I can give or sell you this, and you may be from Bulgaria, come in, you can dispose of your trash here in Switzerland without an account. And it's 1-to-1. It accounts for every single kilo of garbage in a neat system that has no ledgers at all, right? It's all done at retail, and they don't have to keep track of anything. So tokens are going to change the world. And a token, just to be clear, the only thing you can do with a currency, there's only 3 things you can do. You can mine it, you can move it, or you can trade it. That's all. Those are the 3 things you can do with a currency. A token is a thing that represents value. You can do things with it, or you can get things with it. And we'll see examples. There are tokens have been used for thousands of years, and we're surrounded in our everyday lives by tokens. We all have these things in our pockets, lots of them. That's almost all your pockets have, is tokens right now, and most of them are now digital. Digital tokens are everywhere, so it's surprising that when we're building a token model for tokens that are useful, we're building it on an ERC-20 standard, which is a currency standard, and that's led to a few confusing things. So right now, we can see a Cambrian explosion of token sales. I heard we're well over 200 per week now, and that's leading us down a rabbit hole that we will have to get out of. Right now, the model is you can centralize the services, and that's fine, but you don't put the value on the servers. You can decentralize it too. We've heard of peer-to-peer smart contract systems that do everything. They don't need to. You don't need to do that. What you need to do is atomize the value. Atomize the value means give users control of their own assets, usually in a wallet, so that those assets are not in your data center where they're subject to hacking and theft. So we atomize the value. We put, for example, in an identity system, we would put the scan of your passport and all your identifying documents out on some server somewhere, not on the blockchain, and we would encrypt it. And then we put the keys into tokens, and the keys unlock the value of that system. Okay, a token is a representative of value in a single system. So there are 3 general flow models for tokens. One is that they go around in a circle, just like a currency, also possibly a security if it's an asset token, or they go in a straight line. And I want you to remember the poker chip flow model. What is that? You go to the casino, you cash in your money, you get tokens, right? Poker chips, and you can use them inside the system to entertain yourself and lose money at various different ways. And the people who collect that money at the tables, they don't want those tokens. They can't pay their rent with those tokens, so they bring them back up to the cashier, exchange them for dollars or euros or pounds, and pay their rent with fiat currency. So that's a straight line model. And then finally, we have the ticket model, which is where you have a ticket for a concert or an airline seat. After the event is over, the ticket is dead. So it has a birth, a life, and a death. And that's a ticket model. You'll hear more about that. So for designing tokens, which is something I do professionally, you have a physical system embodied in the smart contract. You have a set of covenants that designs the policy characteristics on paper or in a series of documents. And then the market determines certain factors that you might like to design in, but you don't get to. The market determines certain characteristics of your token. So we have a kind of a we have a matrix that I'll show you on the next slide, and it has the following main characteristics. You can have active versus passive, fixed supply versus unlimited supply, and then transferable versus non. So this gives us a matrix that looks like this. Now, today's utility tokens are mostly here. They are mostly API keys. They are fixed number, they are transferable, and they are active. They are not just currencies. And the number one role of a token, what does the token do? The most important thing the token does is raise money. After that, you got some token holders. It's kind of a pain in the ass. You have to deal with it. Mostly the token is for raising money these days. And that's why they're all over here. If they weren't fixed number, they wouldn't raise you any money at all, would they? No, that's no good. So we have to create artificial markets and volatility around tokens that may not want to have that much volatility. You've got pricing according to the value of the token, not necessarily the costs or the financial model of the system, economic model of the system. So there are a couple other ways to go. A ticket is an unlimited active token that is transferable. Of course, some tickets are not transferable, so they're going to carry identity with them. Some are anonymous. Some pass from hand to hand with identity. I hope to see more of that. And I'm going to show you in a further slide how we can create many more tickets, because if your project should use tickets, you should think about a ticket model, and I will help you construct a way of having a sale for that I'll explain in a minute. So with tickets, they are generally fixed price, although the market can have some influence on them. The goal then is that they should maybe rise with the price of inflation, because there's an unlimited number. There's no reason to sell anybody a ticket. You just buy it to use and then use it. Over here we have securities. They are a fixed number, but they're passive, and that's more or less what defines a security in most systems. It's passive. It's a passive investment. It's about ownership and rent. And then equity is also about ownership and rent. And currencies also come under this category. We have asset tokens that should be unlimited. If you want a token that represents a barrel of oil or a tanker of oil, well, those just keep coming and coming and coming. So that should be unlimited. And I hope we'll see more of this category. There are many, many assets to tokenize. Finally, here we have things like prescriptions, government services, voting, where you can't transfer it. And this, I hope, will be a really hot area of research and development and deployment in the next year or two. And then finally, for unlimited, there are some things that you can't trade, but not very many. So in the real world of digital tokens today, the ones that are in your wallet, the ones that are on the subway system, the ones that you use to enter your apartment, we see about, if you kind of add it up by dollar volume, it's about 50% equity, and I'm just mostly guessing here, this isn't data. About 50% of those tokens in the physical world are equity, about 40% are tickets, and about 10% are these system tokens that are fixed number, that are fixed supply, that we are issuing now. So this constitutes about 100% of the token market right now. And my goal over the next couple of years is to have it reflect the real world. More real world economics in the ticket ecosystem. You know what that means? Have your ICO now before the party stops. Okay? So, and I'm not necessarily the bad guy. I'm trying to build something sustainable. So let's have a look at how that would look in equity. In equity, you would issue an equity token. Now we have alignment. This is what's amazing about equity tokens. The entrepreneur doesn't want to give away too many. Only raise what you need to raise. Now the entrepreneur has to trade off. Right now, it's very asymmetric. The entrepreneur just says, hey, as long as I've got that traffic coming, I'll take every more token I can get. I just want the money. More money is better. Spend more money on marketing. Get more eyeballs to my smart contract. Get more ether in, and that'll be better for me. It all costs about the same. So the entrepreneur doesn't care. But here with equity, it's a trade-off. How little equity can I give away to get enough money to get my project off the ground? And by law in the United States and on my platform, there will be a 1-year lockup. So that takes out your speculators for your ICO. You raise as much money as you need to get to the next step. What is this? This reminds me of angel investing, venture investing, only without the middleman. That's where I think this is going, because an ICO is project finance. An ICO is project finance. It's not startup finance. A project may not have a profit motive. A project may be not for profit, okay? Company finance, on the other hand, startup finance, almost always pivots. You have a business plan, which you usually tear up 6 to 8 months after getting your money because it didn't work, and then you pivot and do something else. Well, that's not so good for your token holders in an ICO because they funded you to build the product. So please think of ICOs as project finance, not company finance. In fact, my company is going to have its second ICO early next year. So after a 1-year lockup, we hope things have gone well with your company, your startup, and it's time to release those tokens out of cold storage or out of freezing, the 1-year lockup period. And that's exactly the time when you have another issuance. You issue more, you sell more tokens into the market at that point, so that rather than the price quadrupling, the volume, the number of shares held by the public or by the market then quadruples, and that gives you your second financing because things have gone so well. That happens in 5% of the cases. The other guys don't get to have their second offering. It didn't work. That's fine. That's appropriate. They're not sitting on 20, 30, 40 million, $400 million worth of ether. So it could look a lot more like equity financing in the angel and venture capital market without those people involved. All rounds would then dilute. All rounds would dilute. All investors must be accredited. 2030, we were building an accredited investor market so that all accredited investors in many countries can participate. We build liquidity into the market. So after that 1 year, if you want to, you can sell it to someone else who takes the next phase, and you can go back around to the early phase again. That's liquidity in private markets. And international tradability between accredited investors we still don't know about, we're researching. So now let's go back to the ticket, because the ticket is also, as I said, should be about 40%. And many people should be using tickets instead of the wacky tokens we're using now. To design a ticket ecosystem infrastructure, I'm looking for a basic unit of fundamental demand that the end user wants, like a kilowatt second. That's something that the consumer eventually wants. In the art world, it's a single work. Now look, a lot of people are out there tokenizing these things with their own brand, saying, well, we're going to be the standard for that. Well, we're going to be the standard for that, and we're going to be the standard for that. But then the art collector is facing 3 different token systems that don't trade. That doesn't work. And the person buying energy is going to be buying different species of token for the same kilowatt second. So the goal of my research project, and I hope some people will join me, is to create fundamental tokens for trading the basic units of value in every industry based on a nonprofit model of tickets that just pay for the underlayment, the foundational part of the industry. For example, in energy, this energy 1 kilowatt second token would pay for the grid. The token pays for the grid. Who buys it? The energy suppliers. They pay for the grid. They add their energy to it. They sell it wholesale. I'll go this way. They sell it wholesale to the retailer. They're charging a wholesale energy price, which will fluctuate with the market. They may have their own tokens for that, and that carries along the kilowatt second token as the unit of value. Then the retailers may have all kinds of different innovations they can add. They may have their own tokens. That might be all kinds of market price. They'll let the market choose, and then whoever buys whatever their smart way of trading, of acquiring these tokens, goes to the consumer, who then gets the underlying kilowatt second, uses it, and it dies. And that's the ticket model, and this can be applied to all industries. Then we'll have a better foundation for all the innovation we're going to build on top. Does this make sense? I think a few people are paying attention. That's awesome. Not tweeting. So this is the new model that I'm proposing. We have the protocols that everybody knows and are being invented all the time. EOS, by the way, is an excellent one. And then we have the fundamental token, which is the thing that you want eventually. You don't need the Internet of Things. You need what the Internet of Things does for you, right? The unit of blood, the bottle of wine, the toy, the thing that the whole supply chain gives you is what should be the fundamental token. And then the service tokens are these things that add value to that foundation, that this is where all the innovation happens. And then at the top, to deal with all the tokens, many, especially consumers, will use meta tokens. And the pillar token that we've created is one such token, so they don't have to see all the lower down tokens. So, just a quick principle for investors: do not overpay for world domination. I got less than 1 minute. For investors, at least 20 in a portfolio. A smart portfolio would be 40, and you want even weighting. Just buy the same amount of all of them. At 2030, we are creating the Cryptex Index, which is an index of 50 to 100 different cryptocurrencies in a single token, much more difficult than most indexes on the market, and the whitelist exchange, which is for tokenizing equity. I invite anyone who's interested in tokenizing equity to join me for dinner tonight so we can collaborate on that. Thank you very much.